Hi everyone, my name is Deepa Vishwanathan. I'm from the Faculty of Arts and Social Science, University of Tunku Abdul Rahman, Perak. Today I'm going to present my study entitled The Role of Mothers in Revitalizing Punjabi Language, a case study of the Punjabi community in Manjung District, Perak. Malaysian Punjabi are a small minority group among the approximately 2 million Indians in Malaysia. As they become more educated, less emphasis is being placed on the ability to read and write in Punjabi language. This situation has led the language to go through language shift with the status of minority language. According to Holmes in 2008, language shift mostly occur when a minority group in a society shifts toward the language of the dominant powerful group in the community. So this can be clearly seen where the English language has somehow has become the dominant language in this group. Another important reason could be due to the societal demand of the new era of globalization. There are 5 different issues that basically had basically motivated me to conduct the study. The first one, little attention paid to the home domain and the attitudes of the mothers. Mothers or women of different ages happen to have some influence on the language used with the children. To a certain extent, this is very important because mothers plays an important role to make sure that they use mother tongue, with their children. And of course, the influence actually has somehow contributed to a very saddening situation where the Punjabi language itself is considered as the minority language, and it is going through the language shift currently. Older Punjabi women who did not work with or without education had a higher rate maintaining the Punjabi language. What about women who are in a professional career? So this is another important issue. Their education level to a certain extent would definitely influence one to go about whether to use the language in the home domain. The fourth issue would be the women's language input at the home. This is another important role actually when it comes to making a child to go about having some sort of language development. So women's role, particularly mothers, these group of people, they definitely have to go about playing their roles by speaking to them in Punjabi, so that the language will somehow be revitalized. The final one would be the lack of language transmission and also gradual disappearance of language. This is another important issue because the lack of usage due to the dominant language, which is English language, it has become a habit amongst this community of using this second language because of its dominant and the societal demand. So mothers particularly should play their role to go about speaking in their mother tongue so that there won't be any language shift or language debt for this particular language. So the aim of this study is to obtain an overview of the language use pattern and the language attitudes of Malaysian Punjabi mothers with the presence of their children. So specifically, the objectives are as follows: to investigate the attitude of mother to promote the Punjabi language in home domain. And another objective is to investigate whether education of mothers bring on the value of speaking to children in Punjabi language. So since the title itself is about language revitalization, it's very important to go about having to make the effort to go about making this mother tongue, particularly the Punjabi language, important. And this should begin from mothers particularly. So previous studies in Malaysia, there are a few studies conducted by YC Ong in 2019, quite recent ones. Basically, this author had conducted a study focusing on a Chinese community, not on Punjabi. And then if you see Aman Daima, Muhammad Zain and San Ismail conducted just a simple investigation, a literature review that focuses on Punjabi's identity and also challenges in Malaysia. Naga Nandini, 2011, basically conducted a study that focuses on the Tamil language, particularly in Singapore, Singaporean Tamil community. Mukherjee in 2011 also conducted a study that focuses on the persistence and also the adaptation of the Bengali community in Malaysia. Mukherjee again in 2003 conducted another study that focuses on the role of women in language maintenance and language shift. The focus was on the Bengali community in Malaysia. I did not say that there's no study at all, but the study is very much limited. Can be clearly seen that in the context of Malaysia, studies about the Punjabi community have not been encouraging actually, and it's very minimal. If you see the gap, between 2003 and 11 and 2019 and also 2008. So this is the conceptual framework of the study. So like I said, the main issue, okay, due to the societal impact is because of the globalization that has basically encouraged many Malaysians to focus on the English language, which is the dominant language, the language that frequently is spoken by this group of people. So there you go. It has led the language particularly to undergo the language shift. So of course, when there is a language shift, there's always a language maintenance continues to occur in the Punjabi community, where there's a need to basically speak in the language frequently, attending Punjabi classes, having to go about learning the language, making sure, this particular group, have their own way of learning the language, the maintenance, the process actually. So of course, the role of mothers is very important to ensure the child's language development and behavior in learning the language is very much important and crucial. So here, it is to the final aim is to basically to investigate the attitude of mothers, see to what extent their attitude correspond with the language use pattern in the home domain. At the same time, to see whether the education level of the mothers, brings on the value of speaking to children in the Punjabi language. So of course, the end goal here it is to revitalize the language to a certain extent, to make the language even, to make sure that the language stays and, and don't go to the another step, which is language death. We never want that to happen. So of course, we want the growth, or we want the development to happen, over time when we revitalize the language. So by investigating the attitude of mothers, the language use pattern at the home domain, and also by investigating whether or not the education level to a certain extent influence the value of speaking the language in the home domain, we can definitely go about making some sort of effort to revitalize the language. So the methodology, I have basically adopted a case study and a qualitative approach. So I just focused on 11 Malaysian. There are 11 Malaysian Punjabi mothers. So I focused on this one particular Gurdwara Sahib situated in Setiawan, Perak. So this is a purposeful sampling technique where I just want to basically focus on this specific group, and they should somehow belong to a certain age of group, and they should, have children at certain age of, at certain age, developmental age actually. Okay, data collection. This is basically a structured interview session. I conducted a structured interview sessions with the groups, with all the 11 Malaysian Punjabi mothers separately. Individual sessions were conducted. So interview questions were adapted from a questionnaire from Naga Nandini's entitled Amma or Mami, the role of mothers in facilitating intergenerational language transmission in the Singaporean Tamil community. So Naga Nandini basically came up with a questionnaire, and I just adopted the questions and I just constructed accordingly to suit the aim of my study. So this particular structured interview questions, it consists of 4 parts. There are a total of 15 questions. Part A, there are 5 questions that basically focuses on the direct language input from mother to child, where the mothers had to rate their language use with the children or with the child. So the direct input situation of an example where the mother had to go about using the language directly to the child, during the direct conversation at home, direct conversation outside home, reading, watching television, and also storytelling. So this is to basically obtain the information of the direct language input, to what extent, the frequency or the usage of the language use pattern actually, in this particular situation. Part B, they are indirect language input in the form of language used with other people in the presence of the child. One is direct conversation, a direct situation where the part A focuses on the situation where the mothers have to somehow communicate with the children directly. Another situation where it is an indirect language input, where the mother's choice or mother's language choice, whether if it's English or Punjabi, with the presence of the child, when other people are also basically in the situation. For an example, conversation with spouse in the presence of the child, then conversation with parents or parents-in-law in the presence of the child, conversation with child's Punjabi speaking friends in the presence of the child, conversation with guests at home in the presence of the child, and finally conversation with own friends in the presence of the child. So spouse, parents or parents-in-law, Punjabi speaking friends, guests, or the mother's own friend, actually, these are the group actually that that could be in the situation where the mother's language choice would be determined accordingly. Then part C would be where the mothers were basically required to state and justify the language that they would use instinctively and spontaneously. So three different situations were given to them. Basically, they were somehow asked to go about making some sort of spontaneous choice of language for all these situations. For example, when the child is about to fall or touch something, when the child has done something wrong, and when the child has done well in school or in any given task. So the mothers were asked to go about giving the choice of language, or were asked to go about, mention the language that they would use spontaneously when they encounter in such situations. Part 3 basically had two open-ended questions. The first one is to basically to determine whether to what extent they value the accord of having to go about or instill the importance of having to learn the Punjabi language. Another one is to make sure that whether they have made the cautious effort in speaking the Punjabi language to them. So these questions basically were asked to them individually in a different time slot, and that is why it's structured. And of course, there's no any changes in the question or whatnot. The same question, okay. And of course, a scale of 5 was used for the ratings, 5 for the highest usage and 1 for the least usage. So 1, the dominant language, which is the English language, and also the mother tongue, which is the Punjabi language, was used to go about making their choice, making the language choice. So this is the data analysis part. The first one, structured interview sessions were conducted in different time slots. The same questions were asked to all the 11 participants. Their responses were recorded manually during the session. So content analysis approach was used to analyze the data obtained in the study, and all responses were coded manually, and the findings were tabulated in the form of table and chart. So this would be the results and discussion part. So the result for the part A, language, the direct input, language use pattern in the direct input. So I just took the highest usage, okay, for the respective languages like English and Punjabi. So as for English, if you see, there are a total of 6 out of 11 participants would want to go about using the English language, when having the direct conversation at home. Whereas there are only 1 respondent or 1 participant would want to use the Punjabi language. If you see direct conversation outside home, reading, watching television, or storytelling, can be clearly seen the use of English here has dominated the language choice, has somehow dominated the language use pattern here amongst the mothers. But if you see the Punjabi language, there are only 1, 2 for direct conversation outside home. There are only 1 for reading part, watching television. There are only 3. Still, the English dominates the situation, and also storytelling. There are only 1 out of 11 participants. So it can be clearly seen that English dominates the situation or dominates the language choice. So this is the second part where the mothers were asked to go about having to determine the language choice when they are given the direct input in different situations. So conversation with spouse in presence of the child can be clearly seen that these two, with the spouse and also child's Punjabi speaking friend, the mothers would want to go about using English language, okay, as compared to, for this situation, conversation with parents-in-law, parents or parents-in-law, and also conversation with guests at home. Mothers would prefer using the Punjabi language compared to the English language. So, of course, parents-in-law, they are basically, they are older women. They don't seem to have the ability to go about conversing in English fluently, perhaps. So that could be one of the reasons why they want to go about using the mother tongue frequently. And even if you see another interesting findings here, when the guests basically are at home, in the presence of the child, they would want to go about using Punjabi frequently as compared to English. Another interesting findings here, mothers would want to go about having to use the balanced usage of both English language and Punjabi language with their own friends in the presence of the children, the balanced usage. So both English and Punjabi language basically were used, equally. So this is another data that was obtained for the spontaneous language choice, where the participants, were asked to go about having to go about making the spontaneous speech, the spontaneous choice of language. So, when the child is about to fall or touch something hot, basically the highest, if you see from the three given situation, the highest usage would be the combination of both English and Punjabi, both languages actually. Tendency for the mothers to use both languages is very high. If you see when they're about to touch something that is very hot, they would use like both English and Punjabi, even if they have done something wrong or they have done well in school or in any given task. As if you see the highest one, the Punjabi language is being frequently used, when they are about to fall or touch something hot. So the Punjabi language basically dominates the situation somehow. But there's an equal usage of the English language, for all the situations. Only English, there are a total of 4 respondents actually, who basically had voted for the equal usage of English, when, for the respective situation. So table 3 is about mother's cautious effort in making the children to converse in Punjabi language. So the following are the responses obtained, to see whether they are putting any effort to converse or to speak in a Punjabi language with their children. So most of the responses actually from M1 until M10, they've responded to go, they somehow gave a very positive feedback on making the effort to go about making the child to learn the language. However, if you see M11, M11 here is an individual who don't seem to have any effort made, to go about promoting the language even in the home domain, because according to this person, it's already a habit to communicate in English. Like you see, the societal demand and the dominant language in the community has somehow dominated the language choice in the home domain, even in the home domain. So discussion of research research objective 1, to investigate the attitude of mother to promote Punjabi language in the home domain. So one of the most significant findings of this study is the mismatch between the language attitudes and also the actual language use. If you see in the previous data, it can be clearly seen that the effort is there. They are aware about the importance of learning the Punjabi language. It's just that when they are given certain situation, when they are about to basically use the language in different situations, they don't seem to basically favor the Punjabi language. That is the mismatch that is basically, found in the finding. That can be seen in the result. This mismatch actually between the language attitudes and actual language use could also be the result of the difference in the and covert. So they are aware. It's just that they use the language spontaneously, at times, by using other different language. The awareness exists in the mothers that Punjabi language is important to their children to communicate with old age people. And Punjabi language is being used to do their prayers and read their holy book. This was one of the responses that I obtained. It's very important, and it is basically, they're still aware of the importance of learning the language. However, this positive attitude towards the language is not reflected in the language use and also the language choice. Okay, because if you see from this data itself, English dominated the so-called choice of language amongst the mother. Okay, so English dominated in most instances, and most of the mothers were noted to have claimed to be more comfortable speaking to their child in English. Okay, so the second discussion of research question 2, it is to investigate whether education of mothers brings on the value of speaking to children in Punjabi language. So if you see table 4, it's a distribution of respondents' educational level and also the occupation. So the minimal education level would be SPM, CJ Pelajaran Malaysia, and also the highest one would be the matriculation. So table 5, it shows the respondents' language use patterns for the highest usage of English. Okay, this has got to do with the table 1, the data obtained for part 1. Okay, by the education level. To what extent? This is to basically to answer the research question objective 2, that has got to do with the education of mothers, to what extent it influenced their language choice. So if you see M2, M3, M8, these are the most frequently used, the participants that have somehow used English language frequently, and they belong to the bachelor's degree education level. So it can be clearly seen that they are very, very well educated. Okay, they belong to a certain university education. They belong to a certain group. And this group actually M2, M3, and M8. Actually, they are teacher and secretary, and they basically, they are basically, they have their own professional career, right? So it can be clearly seen that English has somehow dominated their language choice. Okay, so yes, to a certain extent, the education level from this data, it can be clearly seen that it has influenced their language choice. And they don't really basically want to go about using their mother tongue at all at these situations, these instances. As if you see the SPM education level, mothers who had SPM education level, okay, M9 SPM, she's a housewife. But you see the equal importance is given, both English and Punjabi. Okay, she rated as the highest for both English and Punjabi. Okay, she want to go, but she know the importance of having to learn both languages, and rated them as and basically gave them the equal importance. If you see another educational level, which is matriculation, M11 happened to basically use English language throughout for all the instances here. Maybe because like I said, the educational level determines one's language choice. Okay, this particular individual, M11, completed the matriculation in Malaysia. However, if you see another individual also completed matriculation studies, but in India, somehow favors the use of Punjabi language in the instances. So you see, it could be one of the reasons, maybe because the sense of belonging, okay, and pride of having to learn something in Punjabi is very much higher in this particular individual. So from this data, it can be clearly seen that educational level, the more educated you are, the more you would basically go about selecting English language rather than selecting your mother tongue. And this is clearly proven in this particular study from these findings. So mothers who had SPM education showed a more balanced usage of Punjabi and English. Okay, so these mothers believe that it is important for the children to be able to speak fluently in both Punjabi language and English language at the same time. Okay, of course, except for the one that basically has India matriculation education, showed a positive attitude towards the Punjabi language and showed a markedly larger gap in the usage of English in Punjabi. Never want to use English, only want to go about using the Punjabi language throughout, especially when there's a direct language input. This could be the sense of belonging and also the pride in using and promoting the Punjabi language in the home domain. Okay, conclusion. So from the result, it can be clearly seen that a dominance of English in most domains had shown a dominance of English language in most domains, and the conflict between mothers' language use patterns and the attitudes and education level of mothers seem to be a determining factor in the language choice. Has rightly stressed by Fishman in 1991, Derhami in 2002, they basically mentioned that there's always a need for us to have new cases or new studies in this field, because it is important to ensure the language choice in the community, because it's always a social behavior. All right. So like what we have mentioned earlier, the globalization, having to go about learning English language has been a very important and crucial lately. And that is basically has somehow influenced one's language choice in home domain. So exploration into just one aspect of the home domain, which is the mother's language input, has shown that in the Malaysian Punjabi community, the language is losing ground even in the core domain. Okay, so therefore recommendation for more attention need to be dedicated to studies on language attitudes and also behavior of people in important settings such as the home, school, or work, and more research needs to be done to see the same phenomenon prevalent in other ethnic communities as well. So these are some of the references that I have used to go about supporting my claims and statements. Thank you. Thank you so much for listening.